Hello, Lauren. Welcome
Right.
to the Learn My Craft podcast and live drawing session.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I mean, I'm super excited because when I first started drawing, I don't know, it was probably about 6 years ago, you were really one of my inspirations. So,
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
yeah, it's pretty awesome to have this opportunity.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Would you like to tell people a bit about yourself and introduce who you are?
Yeah, so I am of course, I'm a color pencil artist. I
Hmm.
have been drawing for about 6 years now, and I started out doing more like pet portraits
Hmm.
and then kind of started going into wildlife on the side because
Hmm.
I did a lot of commissions starting out. A lot of people really wanted their dogs drawn, and so that's how I got my practice in, was doing those kind of commissions. And then I at that time I had a newborn, so I was kind of a stay-at-home mom, didn't have a whole lot to do other than raise the baby, and I just wanted to do something artistic in a way. And so I discovered colored pencils really through you and a couple other colored pencil artists, and I thought it was just amazing what you can actually do with colored pencils,
Hmm.
and didn't know what I was getting myself into. But I kind of just really just like rough through it in a way where I just tried to figure out like what techniques work, what doesn't work,
Hmm.
and kept being inspired through other color pencil artists to just keep going
Yeah,
and
yeah.
really getting to see like everybody's different techniques too really helped me discover like, okay, so I don't have to necessarily do your techniques, but
Hmm.
I pick up, a little bit of different techniques here and there from all sorts of different artists. And it was kind of fun to figure out like what works and what doesn't work over the years. And
Hmm.
it became something that was frustrating in the beginning to something that I love and I can't live without anymore.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I that's what I love about color pencil. It's quite a flexible medium and people just seem to do so many different techniques for like the same outcome, if you get what I mean, or a similar outcome.
Right.
Like drawing black fur or white fur, there's just so many different ways of doing it and colors to use and ways of layering, and it's just so interesting to see artists do it in different ways. You do learn a lot.
Yeah, there really is all sorts of different techniques, and I kind of started to help teach other artists or aspiring artists to learn to draw too. And I started to discover after teaching a couple of classes that, there really isn't one specific way to draw
Mm-hmm.
and to layer colored pencils. And so I just kind of learned to tell the students, just relax into it and you'll kind of find your method through experiencing. And if you just kind of understand like the basics of color pencils, then you can really just find your own method through that. So it's just a lot of fun because it is more flexible than people really think ultimately, but it's definitely a medium that requires a lot of patience, honestly.
Yes, definitely. That's what I've learned as well. I've grown a lot of patience with color pencil. Oh, that's so wonderful. So what's your sort of favorite animal to draw at the moment then, as you're going into wildlife?
Well, I really like a lot of the woodland kind of animals right now.
Okay.
I've always been into drawing birds the most.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I there's something about the feathers that it gives a really nice challenge, and there's a huge variety of birds too. So just playing around with different techniques and different colors, especially like the
Mm-hmm.
vibrant birds, it's very interesting and fun, to a good challenge ultimately.
Yes. Is
But
that why you
I
chose an owl for us today?
yes. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's the one. I had to do it. But I was drawing a raccoon because it was highly requested for a long time. I sell some of my art at local markets,
Hmm.
and it was highly requested to do a raccoon for some reason. I don't know why people were really liking raccoons at the time. So I did one of those, and it was really, I tried to find one that was just really cute, and I actually ended up enjoying it and just kind of working with some of the local wildlife around here, like squirrels and chipmunks and whatnot, is
Hmm.
it can be a lot of fun because not only are they local, but they're similar in color and um, but different in terms of shape and size. So something that was kind of fun and a little bit challenging to see. Okay, so they have similar colors, but the
Hmm.
shapes and everything are just different. So working with that too is has kind of been like a series of different challenges and different techniques at the same
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, that sounds really lovely. So you like to work more with your local wildlife?
Yeah,
Do you live in a
I,
quite a rural area?
I do. So I live in like East Tennessee here in
Hmm.
America, and we have all sorts of different woodland animals such as, otters and
Oh.
um, we have owls, of course,
Hmm.
and lots of squirrels, lots of lots of chipmunks and raccoons too, and we do have a huge variety of birds too. So
Hmm.
the when it's really fun is that every time I draw a wildlife animal, I learn a little bit more about that animal at the same time. So I'll do some research. That way I kind of know, okay, so this bird, only migrates here,
Yeah.
spring, summer time frame.
Hmm.
And it's very interesting because I'm learning about the animal at the same
Do
time.
you feel like that helps you draw it better, I guess? Or
I
like
think
understand
so.
what you're drawing more?
I think so because I did that with I still do it with my pet portraits
Yeah.
too. So with each client, I always ask them, okay, tell me a little bit about your pet so that I can better um bring in their personality
Hmm.
into the portrait at the same time. And that's one thing that a lot of my clients say after I complete it and they get to see it in person is that I've really incorporated their personality. And I think understanding and learning more about the animal does help make the portrait and make the animal look more realistic and lifelike. And so it's kind of, I don't know how it works, but it
Hmm.
really I think it helps a lot learning more
Yeah.
about the animal.
I feel like it's like a subconscious thing. If you know more about like, I guess how a bird moves or, what it looks like from all sorts of angles, it might help you better decide on colors and form and maybe decide on a specific composition that you think it would look better at. So, yeah, I think it's like subconsciously helps you make those decisions.
Right. It really does. And no, I didn't think about it, in the beginning
Hmm.
that those things do matter. And, of course, over time when you start to practice more, you get better and better. But
Hmm.
I also think incorporating that understanding of, okay, so this dog he's funny, he likes to make goofy faces.
Hmm.
So if they have like a portrait that has the dog's tongue sticking out or something, that's the one that I want to be able to draw because it best represents that the animal's personality.
Yeah, definitely.
So um how long have you been drawing now? It's
I think it's been 9 years now
okay.
that I've been
I remember
full time.
Yeah, and you were you working for, was it NASA
Yes,
prior
I
to that?
was.
Yeah, I thought that was really awesome.
Oh, thank you. What were you doing before?
Well, I was going to school,
Mm-hmm.
and I pretty much like to tell everybody I was going to school for everything but art at that
Uh-huh.
point.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of geology. I did a little bit of engineering.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
I did a little bit of like a communications degree, and really just I didn't know where I was going, but I think, having all of that experience ultimately helped me give me a good challenge for motivating myself to figure out what I wanted to do ultimately,
Mm-hmm.
because it really nothing was really clicking in a way,
Yeah.
and I just didn't think that art, I could turn this into some sort of career and do it full time, and
Mm-hmm.
so I put it on the wayside because I was I used to do a lot of photography
Oh,
and
yeah.
used to paint a little bit here and there when I was younger, but really photography was my biggest, I guess you could say, medium. It is
Uh-huh.
a medium.
Yeah.
And so what's kind of funny is that as I discovered color pencils, I already had all the camera equipment to be able to record
Mm.
everything.
Yeah.
And so I just set up my lighting and then set up my camera and started recording, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of already knew how to edit things too. So I started using that to, teach a little bit online and share on YouTube and Instagram. And
Yeah. It's great transferable skills then.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it all worked out in the end. It just took a little bit of time for me to figure out what I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always the way. Take the long way round. But you've got to where you are today because of it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me more
And so you have
about your oh, sorry.
you're fine.
I
You have
was
a
gonna
little one too, don't you?
yes, yes, I do. She's 3 now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
definitely helped to being an artist with and a mum because I do feel like you have more flexible working hours.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you can do it from home
Yeah.
and still be able to take care of your little ones.
Mm. And I think because art is therapy, you can sort of do it late at night when you're a little bit tired. Like it doesn't quite matter, I suppose, because I'm always tired late at night, but that's the only time I have to draw. But because it is a bit therapy, it does sort of like, I guess, fill your cup in a way. Like you do get something back from it. It's not like you've got to go and write loads of emails and that kind of thing. Like, I would normally do that kind of stuff in the day anyway. But yeah, I do feel like it's one of those unique careers that does give more than it takes,
It
I suppose.
It is because it does seem a little bit more flexible, and
Mm.
I used to get up really early in the morning on
Oh
days
yeah.
that I couldn't sleep or something, and just go and draw, and I
Mm.
could just work in silence, and it was really nice. And even late at night too, where it is something that's very relaxing, and you don't have to
Mm.
necessarily worry about the rest of the work part, where, like you were saying, sending emails and
Mm.
working on
The
social
actual business part of
media.
it.
Right.
Yeah. All of the can be fun, but also not that fun.
Yeah. But it's a part of it too, it's
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm actually working on almost finished a course called The Business of Pet Portraits that talks about everything to do with the business side of being a pet portrait artist.
oh
Um,
really.
It's been a year in the making. I'm very, very excited about it. It's extremely in depth. Like I'm trying to put together my 9 years of knowledge of how to like every part of being a pet portrait artist, and it can be from any medium. It's not necessarily about the art itself.
Mhm.
So, like, even an oil painting pet portrait artist could also use this course. It's mainly specifically about the business side.
Wow.
Um, because I feel like so many people struggle with that side and don't know where to start and feel like they're missing out on things, or because they don't know, they don't necessarily want to try it and go into being a pet portrait artist. Um,
Yes. Yeah. It's
yeah,
very daunting
it
and
is,
intimidating, and
especially
that's still
when you don't know
something that,
anything.
right. Yeah. When you're starting from scratch,
Mm,
it's really scary. And yeah, you can be really good at drawing, but you have to kind of have the business mindset as well if you want to be able
yeah,
to
or
do
at
this
least
for
the
a
business
living.
knowledge. You don't necessarily have to have the mindset, but if you know what you should be doing, then you can just
Yeah.
go and do it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, because there's so many ways. I've done a lot of research and whatnot on,
Mm-hmm.
how to run a business, and a lot of them are just they're not really oriented towards what you really need in terms of,
Yeah,
being an artist. And so you
yeah,
just kind of have to figure it
you
out, and
do.
there's not
You
a
do
lot of
have.
information out there for artists like that.
No, there isn't. Like, I guess my book was sort of one of the first ones out there. That was in 2020.
Oh, I
I wrote
remember that.
Art
Yeah.
is My Career. Yeah, I think that was one of the first, like, there are other ones like, what you didn't learn in art school. That's quite a good book, but there's nothing that specifically tells you how to run an art business. It was all like how to
Hmm.
sell your artwork, but it was mainly like through galleries and things like that. There wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily anything telling you specifically how to do it yourself without relying on galleries. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I came across too,
Mm,
was there was just a lot about, okay, so yeah, you can put your art in art galleries,
yeah.
or you can sell it on Etsy
Which all
and
relies
blah blah
on
blah.
also having a body of work, which I don't even have a body of work after 9 years, but that doesn't mean that you can't make money from your art, you know?
Oh, very true. Yes, because that's the other thing is, having commissions. It's
Mm,
I don't feel comfortable making copies of the originals for pet portraits and selling them as prints. That's their
mm,
personal pet, unless they really insist on wanting me to sell their
yeah,
pet as a friend. But ultimately, I think it's more rewarding and a little bit more fun to be able to draw wildlife and then be able to sell
mm,
those kind of things. And then, if somebody wants multiple copies of their pet or something like that, then I'm more than happy to do it. But
yeah,
there's just something about, that's their personal pet, and I want them to be able to have the original and not be able to make reproductions of it.
yeah, exactly. It makes it more special that way as well, doesn't it?
It
Because
really
they've commissioned that
does.
original, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah. And and there's all sorts of other ways. You don't necessarily have to sell art prints to make a living too, which
Mm,
I just think it's very lucrative what you can do with color pencils and the
yes,
artwork, because you can sell courses, things like that.
yeah.
And then just do strictly commissions, something like that, or like what you're doing, where you're selling books. I thought this was the most
Yes.
amazing idea ever,
Oh,
getting to
fantastic.
sell
I'm
this.
pleased you think so.
Yeah, I was a great idea. I was like, oh, I wish I had come up with that.
Yeah, these books have been so wonderful too, because not only have I like created something that I love myself, but I feel like it's helped me build a community of artists that want to practice and try new things as well. And it's been a really nice way of, like, now we're just chatting, like we wouldn't necessarily have had this opportunity before because there wouldn't necessarily be like, a reason. Um,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
books have given me that reason to talk to other artists and draw with other artists, and it's been quite social, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea to be able to connect with other artists through these things like the books that
Mm,
you're selling. And not only does it help help you sell your books more, but it also helps other artists be able to connect with other fans and whatnot at the same time.
mm,
So,
definitely. And ultimately practice.
oh,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. No, it's been really, really lovely. The response from these books and generally even the podcast as well has been really nice. And it's just been, I feel like it's dramatically changed my landscape as a professional artist. It's been way more social in the last 2 years than it ever has been because before I used to just like try and find clients, talk to the clients, draw it, send it, find clients, talk to the clients, draw it, send it.
Yeah.
There wasn't necessarily a reason to talk to anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is just the most amazing idea that you could come up with, really, because it is, like this platform, especially on Instagram, is very social oriented. And
Mm.
so getting to do these live drawings and get to chat with other artists and whatnot, and then other people can join in and listen and everything. It's a really awesome way, really cool idea to be able to connect with others. And
Yeah. Oh, I'm
I
pleased
definitely
you think so.
I definitely don't always get the opportunity to be able to connect live
Hmm.
with my audience, but trying to kind of work on my YouTube channel a little bit more so that
Oh
I
yeah.
can, yeah, at least be able to chit chat with other aspiring artists that way while I'm about to have another kid.
Oh,
So
exciting.
thank
Congratulations.
you. Yeah, so it'll be I'll probably have to take a little bit of a break,
Hmm.
but I'm still, excited to be able to get to do what I do and raise two babies. So,
Hmm. How has it been so far? How have you found balancing motherhood and being an artist?
definitely it can be challenging at times,
Hmm.
but I think ultimately it's been nice to be able to for a little while I had my studio at home,
Hmm.
and being able to help, raise the little one and still be able to, take a break and work on what I need to work on and draw, because drawing really is just it's
Mm.
it's really relaxing for me, and to be able to have that opportunity is
Mm.
to be able to have both opportunities at the same time
Yes.
has been so nice. And you know, I love that my son also gets to see me draw, and he
Yeah.
gets inspired too at the same
Oh,
time.
that's so sweet. Yeah, it's nice to sort of you're sort of building, I guess, the idea because you grew up not knowing that art was a career and if it could be a career. Now your son is growing up seeing his mum being an artist and making that her career, you know? So it's just showing him something that you, I guess, didn't necessarily have when you were growing up.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, I did not have get this opportunity.
Hmm.
I didn't know it was even a possibility growing up.
Same.
So
Yeah, same.
so it's a whole different world now where you can social media and just the internet period has just been so wonderful to be able to connect with others and be able to make a business this way.
Hmm.
You can make a business with just about anything at that point.
Yeah, definitely. If anything, if you like it, likely lots of other people will like it too. So it's just about sharing it, isn't it?
Right. Yep. Just share what
Mm.
you're doing. And that's one thing that I kind of started to learn too was, people just want to be able to see what you're up to, right? And
Hmm.
so if you just kind of share what you're working on or whatnot, and people are gonna the more active you are in terms of that,
Mm.
the more people are gonna want to interact maybe buy from you or
Yeah,
do want to
exactly.
learn from
That's
you.
basically what social media is. It's not supposed to be like a drudgery chore of, oh, I have to make a video today. You're supposed to be like sharing and documenting and like just making yourself visible to the world rather than just
Yeah,
being in your house, you know. And that's really what it is. Like, yes, there are algorithms and things that might make it harder for people to see you. But all that's really doing is also trying to help you. Like, if your stuff isn't as interesting, then it's just not going to show you. But, you know, it
right.
doesn't mean that no one's ever going to see you. I'm sure a few hundred people will see you, you know? And at the end of the day,
Hmm.
you just need a few hundred people to like what you're doing in order to get one sale. You don't need
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands and millions. It like the number is really just meaningless if it
yeah,
doesn't convert to someone actually loving your art enough to buy it.
yeah. Yeah, that's really what I started to learn too was you just don't have to have you don't have to be super famous online to be able
Mm,
to to run a business. It's just more a
mm,
matter of kind of getting yourself out there and not being afraid to be expressive and show
mm.
your personality out there and also show that you're human too. Like I get a
Yeah.
lot of comments saying like, I don't know how you could do this. This is amazing and blah blah blah. And like it makes me look, like I'm perfect, but I'm really not. And just showing like I make mistakes
Mm,
too. And
mm,
this I'm just learning as I go at the same time.
mm.
So being able to kind of share that knowledge too, that, I'm just like you. I'm a human being and I make my own mistakes. And
Yeah.
um I think people really enjoy that more than just seeing only your perfect moments, if that makes sense.
Yes, exactly. Because also they're also seeing you through a lens of, wow, that's the first time I've seen your work and you're amazing. But you're seeing it through the lens of, I've been working on this for 5 years and building my skills. So yeah, I'm good now, but I wasn't 5 years ago, you know? So,
Exactly. Yeah. And also showing just, like I try to share my ugly drawings too so that people can see, I wasn't perfect
mm,
in the beginning.
mm,
And it's okay to not be perfect. And I'm still not perfect now, I'm
mm,
still have to learn. I'm still learning ultimately. And I think that's really a part of art itself, is just
yes.
being able to express yourself in a way and also learn from um every time that you're practicing and just get better and
Mm,
better from it.
ex-
That's the whole point, in my
exactly.
opinion.
Yeah. Because I do feel like sometimes people lose their confidence when they compare themselves to others online.
Oh
And I think,
yeah.
yeah, because even I have done that quite a lot. I'm like, oh, that person's so good at oil painting. Why can't I do that? Well, when was the last time I picked up a brush? That's the question I should be asking myself. That's probably why I'm not good at that, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
you gotta
it's
be,
more like,
yeah.
yeah, I think a little bit of healthy, you know, comparison to see, okay, where you're at and where you want to be, but not
Hmm.
so much so that you like, I guess, convince yourself to stop.
Yeah, that's the hard part too, is,
Mm,
don't be super critical of yourself and your progress, because like you said too, it's you see only one piece of work and you haven't seen the years of work that they've done to get where
mm,
they're at now. And to just be kind to yourself too. That's one thing that I'm learning as I'm getting older, is I have to be kind to myself. I'm not
mm,
I am I wanted to be, at this point I wanted to be able to make a real hard living at this and be able to only just rely on this. And that's not always the case.
mm,
Just because of circumstances, things happen and you can't always necessarily rely heavily on, something like commissions only and things like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really more about, I started to focus more on my clients and my customers, my fans, and really just caring more about their needs and what they enjoy and being able to connect with them and see okay, so this is what they're asking for, and they need
Hmm.
to learn, or they're asking me okay, so how do you do this with color pencils? And just kind of working with that instead of thinking, all right, I need to make a living out of this. How am I going to do that? And
Yeah.
focusing more on the financial part can be
Yeah.
really hindering in itself.
It can, and it is just such a small part of your business that will grow as your skills grow, your expertise grows, and that effort that you put in to, what going one by one and, building the confidence of someone, that all will start to accumulate. And, the financial side will start to catch up with it eventually. You just got to put the effort in and I guess the mental thinking time in where it does
Mhm.
matter rather than worrying, I think.
Yeah, I definitely totally agree because, if it's that saying where if you build it, they will come kind of thing, where
Mm,
you just have to put yourself out there and share share your knowledge and
yeah,
listen to others too at the same time and just have fun with it,
yeah,
and everything else
yeah,
will kind of
mhm,
come as along with it as kind of
yeah.
a side effect in a
Enjoying
way
the
where
journey.
yes, enjoying
Yeah,
the journey.
yeah. No, there's definitely something that I'm concentrating on more at the moment. I'm drawing feathers right now. So we're drawing feathers, this owl. How do I stop it making it look like fur? Because I draw so much fur. And I've drawn maybe two birds ever, and both of them looked furry. So how do I make it look like feathers and not fur?
Oh, that's a good question. I think with feathers, they're very soft
Mm-hmm.
looking. So I kind of focus on like trying to blend more than making the texture, if that makes sense.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Probably,
So rather than trying to do like the little textures of feathers like we've got here, like on the nose,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
would you
Yeah, because
draw
like the
those?
nose is really
Mm.
detailed, but
Mm.
then you can see around the eyes that
Mm.
it really blends in and it's actually really soft. So I was thinking
Right.
probably using like that burnishing method where you use a lighter pencil to just kind of blend those colors together in that
Yeah.
area.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was thinking of doing, and
Mm-hmm.
not
That's basically
not
what I'm doing right
all.
now as you're talking, but yeah.
And that most birds are that way, but not all of them. Some of them actually have some like really rough texture, kind of like some of these animals. But
Okay.
with this owl, yeah, you can see it looks just softer right around the eyes, and then
Right.
more detailed around the nose. So that's what I'm going to do is do some good blending with some lighter colors around the eyes.
Okay. Just to show off that it's fluffy,
Right.
soft,
Yeah, nice and
rather
soft.
than furry.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to when you're working with different not
Mm.
mediums, but different subjects,
Mm.
that you do have to change up your technique.
You do, yeah.
Uh, like with people, it's a totally different field.
Yeah. Getting that skin texture is quite difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
pretty
fun.
it's fun and it's very, very challenging, and it takes me like twice as long to work on.
Mm.
So I
Do you
use
draw many people then?
not a whole lot. It's been a little while since I've drawn people, and it is definitely not my favorite subject to draw.
Mm-hmm.
So don't heavily advertise it. But, one day when I have more time and want to do more of a challenge, I'm definitely going to offer it a little bit more because I I do want to be able to draw families and especially if it's a loved one that maybe had passed away or something and they really want to have a portrait done of them. I really want
Mm,
to be able to offer that at the same time and not feel like it's going to take me a long time and be
yeah.
really really daunting and challenging at the same time.
Mm. Have you
I
drawn your
wanted
son
to
yet?
no.
Oh, you should.
I should. I
Yeah.
should. I should maybe draw both. I have be having another son too, so I think maybe I should draw both of them
Oh,
together.
yeah, that would be so sweet.
Have you drawn your daughter yet?
Uh, yeah, I did when she was, I think she was 4 months old.
Okay.
I did a little drawing of her looking at one of her toys. It was quite sweet. I haven't drawn
Oh,
her since. I will again at some point, I think. I like the idea of like trying to draw a picture of her every like year of her life kind of thing. So
oh, that's
I've got some to
a
catch
great
up on.
idea. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. But I've got too many projects on the go. I can't start
Oh
another
yeah,
one.
yeah. That's how I feel too. Is when I have the time, but I feel feels like there's really just you got to make the time.
Yeah, you do. You definitely, especially if you're now a mum.
Yeah, and I'll be a mom of two, so that's definitely going to be more challenging to be able to make the time.
Yeah, but it'll be even better.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm excited to be able to still get to draw here and there, when
Hmm.
he's sleeping or just things like that where I still get to have a little bit of that freedom to
Mm,
just sit down for 15, 30 minutes at a time and just
mm.
keep making progress.
Yeah, this comes back to that thing of like how, even though this is, how you make your money, it's also your therapy, and you
Hmm.
physically can't stop. Like, I didn't even
Yeah.
have a maternity leave because I wanted to keep drawing, and I feel like I needed to keep drawing, especially during the first few months, because I guess becoming a mother for the first time is very
Oh,
shocking, I suppose,
oh yeah.
isn't it? And then
Yeah.
you just sort of want to like retreat back sometimes into what your comfort zone is, and that was drawing for me as a rest.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Mm,
exactly how I feel about it it's it is a form of therapy and getting to it's the process of it that I just enjoy so much, not
mm,
necessarily being able to share the work and sell prints and things like that. I
mm,
love I love all that. I love that process too, but the process of actually drawing is really why I keep going too, is
yeah.
it just calms me down in a way.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely feel that too.
Are you still you still can't see
I
the
can actually. I'm
already?
looking on my computer as well, so
Oh,
I
okay.
love that eye. You've got that refraction really
Oh,
beautifully
oh, thank you.
in the eye.
Yeah, yours is
So do you know?
looking really good.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to build up these colors.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
it's not as white because I've used this buttercup color pastel matte. I'm not really sure about this weird color. Like it sort of doesn't really go with anything and always feels like I'm doing the wrong colors, but I'm giving it a go. This is a practice. This is the one I did in color pencil.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that one looks really good too. I think it's kind of cool because it gives you a good challenge of, it's a little bit more saturated of the
mm,
yellow. Um,
yeah,
and then working around that is with different colors. That can be definitely a different challenge in itself. And
yeah.
working
It's a
with this kind of paper, I used to play around with paper a little bit more,
mhm,
but then I got really used to this one kind of paper that I use all the time now. And so
What are
working on
you
this
using at the moment?
paper, I'm using it's the Bristol vellum
Okay.
paper. And
Yeah.
I've really learned to love that one
Mm.
because I can really build up a lot of
Y-
layers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it has that texture that can sometimes be annoying at times because you can still see the tooth of the paper coming through. But
Mm.
I like to use the mineral spirit oil
Oh, okay.
to kind of blend with that kind of paper because that stuff doesn't really work well with all different types of paper.
Mm.
But I noticed that it worked great with that kind.
Is
So I've just
it
been playing
Zest
around
It?
with that. Is
Is
it
it
what?
is it the brand Zest It, that mineral oil you're talking about?
Actually, it is damsel damsel.
Okay.
Here, I can show you on here. Um, Gamsel Pure Odorless Mineral Spirits. I found it on Amazon,
Hmm.
and I think it's for um oil pastels, maybe, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And I
I
just
guess that's why it would work with these pencils then, wouldn't it? Okay, yeah. I have seen that
yeah.
before.
Yeah,
I've never used
I
that particular one.
yeah, I've never really I bought it a long time ago and it just sat there for a while and
Mm.
I was trying all different types of blending materials and techniques and whatnot a while ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, maybe I should try this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working great on, I was using, it was like a Bristol smooth kind of paper when I first started, and
Right, yeah,
it
it
didn't,
doesn't work very well on
yeah,
that.
not at all.
Yeah.
And then I was getting into, I think it was Fabriano, um, hot press watercolor paper.
Okay,
I believe
yeah.
that's
I
what it
haven't
was.
tried that yet.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a really nice paper too, and I was using that for a long time, and but then
Okay.
still at the same time I just wasn't getting the saturation that I wanted. I really had to press hard and my
Mm-hmm.
hands would cramp up and it started to
Oh,
wear on me. So I put
yeah.
something out. And then that's when I found the Bristol vellum paper and just really fell in love with that and started
Mm-hmm.
to kind of it's kind of fun because playing around with different paper you can change your techniques with
Yes,
each one,
definitely. That's what I found as well.
and so you just kind of have to figure out like what technique you like and what works well with you, and then kind of use the paper to your advantage with that.
Mm.
With some of my students, because I used to teach in person a little bit, and I noticed that some people are more heavy-handed and some people are more lighter-handed where they draw
Yeah.
a whole lot lighter. And so I try to tell them, you just got to accommodate to your needs when it comes to the type of paper, because the color pencils, I think they'll just come along as you start to practice more. There's all sorts of different color pencils and whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
um but I think the paper really makes a big difference in terms of what you can handle with the way that you draw too at the same time, what you're more comfortable with.
Definitely. Yeah, because I've definitely found that as well because I'm very used to smooth paper. So when I started using pastel mat, it just completely changed, I guess, my layering system.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does like just because the ugly stage is so much longer, you have to like keep going until
Yeah.
before you start adding any details. Whereas with smooth paper, you can get to the detailed stage so much quicker.
Oh,
Um,
oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's very pastel mat is just a whole different like technique in itself.
Mm.
And I had tried it
But you can
a
get,
little bit.
yeah, you can get some good results with it though, because you can layer light over dark. It's a bit like using pastel pencils.
That's what I noticed too. It's almost like you're like cheating in a way because it does feel like you're using pastel pencils and
Hmm.
not
Yeah,
necessarily like
definitely.
cheating, of course, but
Yeah, yeah. It
it
doesn't feel like a
definitely
color pencil anymore.
right. It doesn't feel like a color pencil. It feels like just super buttery smooth, kind of like
Yeah.
that soft method, and you don't have to press down as hard and stuff. But it's
Mm,
very, very interesting how to get details with pastel matte because there's so much like grain and tooth of the
yes.
paper coming through that you really have to figure out a good technique before you start applying too many layers and a lot of pressure.
Yeah, well that's what I'm practicing today because I've always done like quite a loose technique on pastel mat. Um, but because I want to get in
Uh-huh.
these details of like the eye and the feathers and stuff, you've got to sort of get past that initial first few layers in order to even put in any highlights, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's very different, very challenging, and but it's fun at the same time because then you might not know what kind of technique you like until you try it out.
Definitely.
And so I found that I'm not as fond as of the smooth paper anymore, just because really because I just had to apply a lot of pressure to be able to get the saturation that I wanted.
Mm, and not enough
And
layers as well.
yeah, not enough layers, and ultimately it just wasn't I could get a lot of details in there, but it just wasn't the kind of layering and different textures that I wanted ultimately. So I had to I had to start branching out and invest in some different types of paper and to figure out what works for me. And so
Mm,
that's really when I found that Bristol vellum was um that was it for me. At least for right now. I'm definitely still
yeah.
open to trying out different ones, but
No,
I'm
I'm the
really
same
enjoying
as
that one.
you. I'm a convert as well to Bristol Vellum. I used the 500 series.
Okay, I think that's the one that I use too. I think it's the
Yeah,
500. Yeah.
I
And
really like it
so
as well.
it still has that tooth,
Mm,
has that texture to it. And but you can really work with it and still be able to get a lot of details and saturation at the same time.
yeah, definitely. No, I really like it. I use it for my commissions at the moment.
Okay. What kind of paper, like if you do you do a lot of your own work too on the side?
Um, I've started mostly I just do these books because I don't
Mhm.
necessarily have time to do much of my own work. So I've been
Yeah.
really trying out paper with these books. So different colored pastel mat or the Derwent Light Fast I tried yesterday.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and just sort of doing it that way. I like to sort of, now that I've got these books, I'd like to try and test out the paper before I go in with like a big one.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
just to sort of see what technique I have to use and how it's going to feel and how many layers do I need to put down before I'm satisfied and that kind of thing. So it's an interesting way to
Mhm.
do little tests, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a great idea to be able to utilize this time to try out different types of paper.
Mm,
And because they're so small too, it's not like you have to spend a lot of time on a bigger portrait
exactly.
figuring them out.
Yeah. It's only like a couple of hours out of my day, if that, depending on what picture I choose.
Hmm.
Um, well, out of my night. And yeah, so I've been enjoying doing that. I was pleasantly surprised with the Derwent Lightfast paper.
Oh, okay.
Um, that's got a good, I guess, depth to it. I feel like you can do quite a few good layers on it.
Hmm.
Um, it doesn't feel like as good as the Strathmore paper, but it definitely feels like better than Winsor and Newton paper, which is what I used to use.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't tried that before, but yeah,
I feel like
there's
it's almost watercolor paper, but not as textured.
I see.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, when I first discovered that you can use watercolor paper with color pencils, I just thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah. You
Because
can do it on
they're,
wood as well. I've seen some artists use color pencils on wood.
oh yeah, yeah, I've seen that too, and I thought that was a really neat idea.
Yeah. I might try it at some point.
Yeah, especially if you do like what are those? The pastel pencils, like those kind of
These pan pastels.
yeah, yeah. With those, I feel like that would work really well on wood.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I don't
I
know,
want
I
to give
haven't
it a
tried it
go.
out.
Yeah. It'll be fun. I'll do one of these exercises in the book. Stick in my piece of wood.
Oh yeah, just get a little block of wood.
Yeah, exactly. Because I always thought like, because you sort of think, oh, okay, it's a pencil, so you can only do paper, so you can never like do big, I don't know, huge pieces of canvas artwork if that's sort of what you want to do. But really, you're
Hmm.
not limited to just paper at all, because yes, it's a pencil form, but like a lot of them, like the Caran d'Ache ones are oil based. You're basically coloring with
Yes.
oil
Yeah.
paint, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. Yeah. And
So just because it's the form is of a pencil, it doesn't mean that you can only use it on paper, which is quite exciting.
yeah, there's all sorts of different how what do you call that? Different like different surfaces that you can
Yes.
play around with color pencils.
Mm,
And I haven't necessarily used wood yet, but I've definitely heard about it and I've seen some artists do it and I just thought it was a really cool idea to be able
mm,
to be able to do.
yeah,
Not that
yeah.
you could probably make prints off of it too, but it's it's definitely different because it's not a white background, so it
Mm,
gives you a good challenge at the same time.
yeah. Or you could just paint it white, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could probably paint it white.
You can paint it, turn it any color, I guess.
Yeah, and then just have, that nice wood
Mm,
um like grain or texture, and then on the sides you'd have that wood, especially if it was like a raw wood, exposed wood on the
mm.
sides. That'd be really pretty.
Oh, exciting. We're deciding on new artworks here.
Trying out different, thinking about different things and
Yeah. You're inspiring me to start some new projects now. Not that I needed it.
I know, right? It's definitely got to make the time for it once again.
Yeah. Where are you sort of trying to go with your like sort of where do you see it in like 5 years time?
No, that's a good question. I really want to be able to focus on teaching a lot more
Hmm.
online and connect with other aspiring artists that way and still be able to just draw what I want, but uh, but really just that's just a good question because right now I do I teach a little bit online. It's
Yeah.
not very big right now, but it's very new.
Hmm.
And then I do sell a lot of prints at local markets, which is a lot of fun. So I've been enjoying that. But I think, like my future plans are just to be able to, well, I really want to do more like bigger portraits and just be able
Hmm.
to challenge myself with what color pencils can really do on bigger
Hmm.
pieces and kind of work on maybe like a series where I think it'd be really cool to do one of those books where it's you do like a series of different plants and then you can make a book on um what do they call those things? Like like an herbal book, so I get to
Oh, okay.
illustrate like an
Yeah.
herbal book, something along those lines. I think that would
Yeah.
be really fun to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful.
Maybe even do like a bird book where I have a bird series and just have some
Mm.
information, like little tidbits. It can even be like a coffee table book or something.
Yeah, like one of those old I guess. Yeah, I know what you mean. Completely forgotten the name of it, but those
I
old
know,
style
me
books
too.
where it's like they've got a picture of the plant and with all the descriptions and stuff in it.
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
you mean, right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, something like
Okay.
that. Being able to illustrate a book like that would be really fun.
Oh, that sounds really cool. A nice idea, especially the birds because you like birds, so I feel like
Yeah,
that's what you should do first.
yeah, maybe focusing on, working on because I'm all over the place. I'm still discovering, what kind of animals and whatnot that I like to draw
Mm,
and maybe having more of a focus of a certain subject matter and
mm,
making that like a series,
yeah.
working on that for a year's time frame or something to be able to turn that into a book. I think that would be really, really
Yeah,
rewarding
really
in the
beautiful.
long run.
Mm. And by the time you've like finished the book, you probably like would have been fed up with birds. So then you can move on to the next thing that inspires you. You
Exactly.
never know.
That is one thing, I was like, maybe what if I get bored of it, before I
Yeah.
finish it?
I
But that,
guess if you've got a plan, like you've got to do, okay, I have to do 20 illustrations, say,
yeah,
with detailed drawings of whatever, feathers and stuff, and then give yourself like that kind of specific goal.
yes, having a very specific goal, I think, is probably the best way to go about it. And,
Mm,
and you don't have to necessarily draw big portraits to be able to make it
no.
work. I do a lot of smaller portraits.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, just about this size. This is probably a closer I usually draw a like 4 inch by 4 inch size.
Oh, really?
Um, I like to draw like the little ones, and I turn those little ones into classes so
Oh,
that
that's nice.
people, especially newer artists, they don't feel so like challenged by a huge portrait,
Yeah,
and they feel like they still have something to enjoy in the end in just a couple of
yeah.
hours time frame.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
But so like, if I'm going to do illustrate a book, I could probably just work on some more medium-sized portraits instead of doing big ones to be able to not feel so overwhelmed and um, worn out
Yes,
in the end.
exactly. Because it can then just take as long as it takes, and then you stop when you've reached that number of illustrations that you wanted to in order to fill the book, and then you just put it all together and it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've run out of time now, Lauren.
Oh, it went by pretty fast.
So fast. It's been so lovely. I love your owl.
Thank you. And I really like how yours turned out. That was I was impressed because
Oh, thank you.
that was all yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That first the paper.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, this butter, can't see it now. That's just the back. Yeah,
Hmm.
butter cream or something like that. Buttermilk, whatever it's called. Buttermilk, buttermilk paper, pastel matte Clairefontaine. Yeah. No, that was really fun. I really enjoyed just chatting to you about everything, really.
Yeah, it was
Um,
really nice getting to chat with you and ultimately get to meet you in a
yeah,
way where we get to just chit chat about the same experiences.
yeah. No, it's really, really nice. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And I would love to see your owl finished when you get a chance.
Yes, I'll try to complete it as soon as possible to because I'm excited to see how it turns out in this kind of paper.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. And thank you everybody else for joining us today. If you haven't already, please go and follow Lauren Kline Art. Um, and if you want to get your hands on your very own Learn My Craft practice journal, this is it here. You can get it at learnmycraft.com or on Amazon. And today we used the British Life Wildlife Edition and we drew number 33. So if you drew number 33, I would love to see it and please share it. And thank you so much. So thank you,
Yeah,
Lauren, and then have a wonderful day.
thank you. You as well.
Okay, bye.
Bye.